Hello and welcome to my vlog number 1, which looks at the skills versus capabilities of two athletes performing a back squat and also a power snatch. I hope you find this informative and interesting. Athlete number 1 is a teenage CrossFitter who has over a year and a half's experience. Athlete number 2 is also a teenage CrossFitter with approximately a year and a half to 2 years experience. Athlete 1 performs the back squat with relative ease. However, my attention is drawn to the lack of stability in the knee region from this frontal view. From the side view you cannot see the knees, however the bar and the hip hinge and the rest of the movement appears relatively free from faults. In this slowed down clip with the two lines inserted, we can see the lateral movement of the knees, and particularly the right knee, which could indicate a capability or stability issue that we could rectify. Providing a stable base for squats is very important for this long-limbed young athlete. So I've asked her to take her shoes and socks off and do unloaded air squats, focusing on keeping the big toe, the heel and the outside of the foot always in contact with the floor and focusing on feel. Now the athlete will attempt to perform single leg squats while focusing on keeping pressure on all three parts of this foot, with the knee tracking over the toe and keeping the torso upright and straight. On successful completion of the single leg squats, the athlete can then move on to a balance and reach practice, where again the focus is on keeping a stable loaded leg with the knee tracking over the toes, and then using different planes of axis that the unloaded leg will follow, with increasing difficulty from the posterior medial through to the medial plane. As you can see here, the athlete does obviously have the different levels of difficulty with the left and the right and the different planes of axis. A possible final exercise for this athlete is reactive neuromuscular training, where we're attempting to teach the body or the knee be under load to move in correct alignment. However, I do feel this is a bit advanced for this athlete at this time. With athlete number 2, there will be a skill focus, with my attention drawn to her setup with regards to hands and elbows. From this view, you can see there is some slight curvature of the lumbar part of the spine, which could be attributed to a lack of body tension on the initial setup. As the arrows indicate, the elbows are nearly in the horizontal position, and also the hands are very wide on the bar. The bar is also set a little bit low under the trapezium. As you can see from this still, it portrays the angle of the elbows and also how low the bar is actually set on the upper back. With regards to athlete 2, I do feel this is a motor control situation with a possible lack of familiarity with the skill. So we carried out a short screening exercise seen here, where we can see that the right side is stronger than the left side, showing a lack of balance. So in an attempt to address these balance issues, we'll work on some banded Ys with the athlete, look at maintaining tension and stability in the shoulder region, and also tension in the whole body as they perform this process. Then we're looking at about how the athlete sets up at the bar for the back squat, maintaining tension throughout the whole body.
Really make an effort of it. Oh, ham it.
All we're doing is carrying out the drill of going up to the bar,
look up,
pulling down on the bar, pushing up with the legs, creating tension, lifting the bar off, and then returning it back to the stand. Also with the stand at the correct height and feet in the correct position. Looking forward to all times. And this ritual is one they can continue. The arrows indicating the opposing forces created on the bar by the athlete. Both athletes asked me if we could focus on the muscle snatch for the other lift. This is a complex skill, especially for these young, new athletes to perform. In essence, as you can see, athlete 1 is performing a 2-pull muscle snatch. So attention should be given to the start-up position. And also, on the recovery position, we can see there is a slight issue with the right side and the right elbow and the right arm, potentially showing some capability issues within the shoulder region or arm position. From this medial view, we can see the position of the upper forearm of the right side in comparison to the vertical line. A potential intervention could be to develop the strength of the shoulder area through exercises such as Turkish get-ups, using relatively light kettlebell weights. The athlete is relatively unfamiliar with this movement, but that's not such a big issue. What we're looking at is trying to maintain the weight above the head and lock out the arm. As you can see here, the athlete favours the left side and still needs to focus on locking out both of the arms. Also, in an attempt to encourage the lockout of the arms, we're going to carry out a series of drills with snatch grip push presses. We're looking to engage or activate the shoulder muscles and possibly change the angle of the armpits so that they are facing towards the front and not in the down position. As you can see here, the athlete checks to her right side to check the position of her arm. As you probably observed, the athlete was actually looking at her arm during these push presses. This could be a possible neuro response or a lack of familiarity with the position, as we had discussed internal versus external rotation of the elbow. Finally, we had a quick look at the setup through the use of snatch grip deadlifts, going through the first pull movement up to the knee area, as this is an area that the athlete also needs to practice. As you'll notice, the improvement of the back position just from carrying out this type of drill, it is a substantial difference. However, we should only really focus on one area of the snatch at a time with these young athletes. With regards to athlete 2, I do feel there is more of a skill issue. As we can see, the bar setup is quite low, and also the athlete performs a 2-pull lift, which really in essence could be a 1-pull lift at the moment, and I do feel that's an area we need to first deload and also pay some attention to. Of course, the setup could also do with some attention as well. As the bar tracks away from the body, this could cause a possible lack of balance under pressure. Also, the high hips at the setup could lead to possible lower back pain in the future. As we see, the bar setup here should be at the hip crease, not below, as it is now. Also, this photo further reinforces the distance the bar is tracking from the body and the general body position. So some of our focus area will be on these basic, breaking down the different pull areas and deloading the athlete, as well as maintaining body tension. Again, we're back to initial setup, and this photo illustrates the change in bar position when we dealt with the initial setup, with the bar being raised much higher in the power hip region and the grip being wider apart. We then worked on a series of unloaded exercise where we're looking at the activation of the elbows, high elbows and shoulders, using a high snatch pull to start off with. Another intervention could then be moving on to a tall muscle snatch after proficiency in the high pull has been achieved. Finally, we're looking at performing the muscle snatch, utilizing this powerful power position from the second pull, extending the ankles, nips and knees, exploding upwards. As we can see from the side view, the bar is still tracking away from the body and a slight hyperextension in the recovery. However, this is a complicated lift and there is always areas to work on. Finally, I would like to say thank you to my 2 amazing athletes who both have sparkling futures ahead of them. And also thank you for the time spent looking at this, and I would welcome any feedback at the start of this journey of mine. Thank you very much.